I think royal duty is extremely important. I think it's part of the fabric of what the royal family and any future.
Prince William has just stunned the entire royal family, and King Charles never saw it coming. Camilla was left visibly shaken as a quiet. Routine ceremonies spiraled into royal chaos. Was this William taking control of the monarchy's future, or was it something even bigger? And why did William exclude Camilla completely from his shocking announcement? The consequences of the surprise could reshape everything, and this royal drama is just getting started. It all started like any ordinary royal event. Flags waving, guards standing proud, and Buckingham Palace looking picture perfect. Rows of pristine white roses lined the courtyard, and the Union Jack fluttered proudly above. Inside, the palace buzzed softly with polite conversation as dignitaries from across the Commonwealth gathered for what should have been a simple celebration of tradition and stability. But beneath the surface, something felt strange. Prince William had requested something very unusual: to speak alone, not alongside his father, King Charles, and definitely not with Camilla by his side. Royal insiders knew something wasn't right. In the carefully controlled world of royalty, every word, every step is meticulously planned. William stepping into the spotlight alone raised immediate suspicion. As William approached the throne, palace aides froze. They recognized the look on his face. It was the same determined, unshakable expression his mother, Diana, wore whenever she broke from tradition. And they were right to worry, because this wasn't just another carefully staged moment under Buckingham Palace's gold-lined ceilings. It was the beginning of a royal upheaval. One palace aide whispered nervously, "Something's about to change, you can feel it." And change it did, rapidly. When William finally spoke, his voice was steady but powerful. He didn't shout. He didn't need dramatic gestures. His words were clear, calm, and shocking. This wasn't just another speech. It was an announcement that would alter the monarchy forever. He spoke openly about legacy, but his focus was unmistakably on change. William boldly declared that the crown must serve its people rather than remain distant and unreachable. And then he delivered a statement no one expected: a brand new Royal Advisory Council, promising transparency and shared leadership. And Catherine, the Princess of Wales, would now play significant and active roles, not just symbolically, but in a real, structural shift of power. Then came the bombshell. With King Charles's blessing, William would start taking on many of the crown's day-to-day responsibilities. He didn't use the exact words, but everyone understood it was a soft regency, a quiet takeover. One royal commentator said afterward, "It was quiet, but it was revolutionary." But there was one glaring omission from William's groundbreaking vision. Camilla, not a word, not a role, not even a subtle nod to the queen consort. And this silence was deafening. As William laid out his plans, all eyes shifted to Camilla. Initially calm and composed, Camilla soon appeared visibly distressed. Her fingers tightened around her ceremony program, her face pale, her eyes flickering nervously. Then suddenly, without warning, she slumped forward. Gasps filled the room. Cameras captured every shocking moment as palace aides hurried to her side. King Charles leaped up, panic visible on his face, calling out, "Camilla!" Medical staff quickly intervened, gently lifting her onto a stretcher and whisking her away. What began as a royal celebration had abruptly become a crisis. With Camilla, queen consort, literally carried out a ceremony she was supposed to help lead. One insider later revealed it was more than stress. She felt erased, as if she had no place in William's future plans. While Camilla was rushed out, Buckingham Palace erupted into damage control mode. Press officers scrambled, phones rang off the hook, and advisors held emergency meetings through the night. King Charles, already struggling with health issues, looked visibly shaken. Sources hinted he had been warned, but no one thought William would really go through with it. The monarchy wasn't just facing bad press now. It was facing an internal crisis. Did William deliberately push Camilla aside? Was this his way of reshaping the monarchy, or was something deeper happening behind palace walls? A senior aide admitted to a British newspaper. William knew exactly what the speech meant. He knew who it would hurt, but he chose to go through with it anyway. Opinions were split. Some praised William's bravery, calling him a visionary leader. Others felt betrayed, accusing him of fracturing the royal family. Suddenly, Buckingham Palace was divided. One group loyal to King Charles, the other aligning themselves behind William. And caught in the middle was Camilla, suddenly sidelined and left wondering where she fit into this shocking new chapter. But why would William risk everything to make such a bold move? To understand his true motives, we must look back to Diana. William's daring action didn't come from nowhere. Insiders say he had been planning this dramatic shift for months, possibly years. And at the center of it all was Princess Diana, whose memory and values had never left him. Diana's compassion, transparency, and emotional honesty had deeply shaped William. Many believe his push to modernize the monarchy was his way of honoring the mother he tragically lost. A royal historian summed it up, saying, "This wasn't just a speech. It was a quiet but powerful course correction. It was William finally embracing everything Diana stood for, and everything the royal family had long ignored." William sees the monarchy not as an outdated institution stuck in the past, but as something meant to serve the people here and now. For years, he watched tradition stifle progress, making the royal family seem disconnected. With Charles's health uncertain and public interest fading, William saw an opportunity and seized it, even if it meant sidelining those he believed no longer represented the monarchy's future, including Camilla. To some, William's actions looked like open rebellion. But to William, it was restoration, a return to Diana's vision of a monarchy built on empathy and honesty. But by trying to restore his mother's ideals, has William fractured his father's legacy beyond repair? The drama has just begun, and Camilla's once steady rise now faces a humiliating and very public fall. Camilla's hard-earned victory, just flipped overnight in Buckingham Palace, is buzzing louder than the press helicopters outside the gates. For more than 20 years, she pushed through sneers and headlines that painted her as a villain, while determined royal watchers claimed she would never belong, yet she kept moving forward inch by inch. She survived mocking cartoons, icy receptions, and the constant shadow of Princess Diana, carrying quiet grief that the cameras never fully captured, but refusing to step back into the darkness. Slowly, she turned jeers into polite applause, standing beside Charles at charity gala state dinners and solemn memorial services, until many doubters finally nodded and said maybe she does fit after all. That sense of triumph lasted until one cool spring morning, when Prince William walked to the microphone with a plan that would shock every guest in the gold-lined ballroom. William laid out a modern path full of shared leadership, naming Princess and Prince Edward and Catherine, but Camilla's name never appeared, and the silence felt like a thunderclap that cracked porcelain hearts. To outsiders, it might have seemed like a small oversight, yet insiders knew it was an unmistakable sign that Camilla's moment at the center of power was ending before it had truly begun. One veteran royal reporter whispered in disbelief, "Camilla climbed a mountain only for the rug to be pulled from under her. At the top, it was more than emotional, it was structural. She wasn't just omitted, she was erased, and it hurt." While William spoke of openness and service, Camilla's shoulders drooped, her face drained, her eyes lost focus, and then she folded forward, her years of effort dropping like a shattered tiara. Gasps rippled to the hall, cameras clicked in frantic bursts, and aides rushed toward her with urgent whispers and worried hands, every second streaming live to the entire world. Doctors later called it acute stress, many viewers called it a heartbreak, but everyone agreed that in one swift moment the Queen Consort vanished from William's bright new vision. Now the spotlight swings to King Charles, who stands torn between defending his wife and accepting the tidal wave of popularity that appears to carry his eldest son toward future glory. Charles grew up inside a world of rigid ritual where the job of monarch is to guard tradition, yet the ground beneath his polished shoes now feels like shifting sand. A senior palace insider sighed, "The king still wears a crown, but his son is calling the shots." In hushed corridors, advisors debate if Charles should push back, strike a compromise, or surrender quietly before the family feud turns into a public spectacle. For the king, the crisis is painfully personal. He watched his wife collapse on international television and saw his heir seize command with calm authority that brooked no argument. Camilla's fall was bigger than one feigning spell. It exposed a crack in the royal machine that has long boasted unbreakable poise and that frightens the most loyal courtiers. One aide said she did not simply faint, she broke something inside her, and everyone near her felt the snap even though no bones shattered. Footage raced across phones and laptops, hashtags like hashtag royally reckoning and hashtag monarchy shift trended, while pundits on talk shows dissected every frame as though studying a mysterious signal from space. Older royalists begged for kindness toward Camilla, calling her a survivor. Younger audiences cheered the incident as proof that outdated hierarchies can tumble in a single heartbeat. A viral tweet sliced through the noise. Diana walked so Catherine could rise, Camilla collapsed so the monarchy could evolve. Inside, the palace lights burned long after midnight as press teams drafted general statements, but each headline roared louder than the last, insisting that history had turned a sharp corner. Front pages shouted Queen Consort faints, while William reshapes monarchy, leaving little doubt that the old guard was wobbling even if no one dared to say it outright. Some senior staff urged Charles to deliver a firm nationwide address, while reformers warned that challenging William could deepen the fracture and invite public backlash every bit as fierce as the first. The tension is so thick that junior aides speak in whispers, fearing one careless word could brand them loyalist or modernist in the palace, suddenly split down an invisible line. Yet amid the uproar, a quiet force stepped forward: Princess Catherine, whose composure has always balanced warmth, and still walked into the spotlight without trembling. 3 days after the drama, she kept a promise to open a community kitchen in East London, wearing calm royal blue and greeting volunteers by name, while cameras searched for cracks that never appeared. Her speech lasted under 1 minute, yet every syllable echoed across news feeds. The future is about unity, service together, she said, grounding the whirlwind with simple certainty. Clips of her calm delivery soared through social media, many viewers praising her as the steady anchor the royal family needs during this storm of change. Fans hailed her as the public heart of William's vision, pointing to her kindness and quiet confidence as proof the next generation can protect tradition while also modernizing day-to-day duties. Meanwhile, Camilla rests away from the cameras. Her schedule cleared. Rumors swirl that she may return in a smaller role, focus on private charities rather than public grandeur. William publicly remained silent, yet sources claim he spoke privately with Charles, promising respect, while gently insisting that evolution cannot be frozen by fear of hurt feelings. Observers watch the father-son struggle like an unfolding drama. They wonder if it will end in peaceful transition or an ice-cold standoff that echoes through future dynasties. Historians remind anxious citizens that the crown has survived abdication, wars, and scandal, but in the era of instant streaming, one stumble can become a global meme before anyone can draft a reply. Even seasoned palace workers admit they have never felt tension like this. Entire careers spent guarding tradition now seem fragile in a world where public opinion changes by the hour. William pushes ahead with his advisory council, inviting fresh voices from across the Commonwealth, showing he will not be slowed by palace nerves. Each new appointment chips away at the old hierarchy, and courtiers who once called him cautious now see a leader who can act swiftly yet speak softly, a combination that unsettles those hoping to block progress. Through every appearance, Catherine amplifies a message that power can be kind and approachable, shaking hands, listening first, speaking second, and leaving crowds feeling seen instead of lectured. Some critics predict backlash once the first misstep arrives, but for now approval numbers keep rising, fueled by an image of a couple determined to serve people before protocol. Spring sun warms London lawns, yet rumors swirl of an upcoming event where William, Charles, and Camilla may share a platform. Many wonder if a simple smile can mend this rift, or if new cracks will appear on live television. Whatever happens, historians will note the sight of the Queen Consort sinking in her chair as the moment the old order trembled and a new order began to rise in full public view. The corridors of Buckingham Palace remain hushed, yet outside its gates people sense that an ancient institution is living a very human story filled with heartbreak, hope, and the possibility of a brighter day. Inside Buckingham Palace, her calm presence spoke louder than any trumpet blast. While Camilla faded into the margins, Catherine moved to center stage with the same steady grace that has marked her rise since day one. A royal commentator noted that Catherine never grabbed power. She earned it through patience, dignity, and an iron calm that never cracks. Now, as the monarchy stares into an uncertain dawn, every pair of eyes has shifted past Charles and even past William to rest squarely on her. The crown is changing, and though no ceremony has crowned her, yet Catherine already wears its weight in everything she does. Beyond the velvet curtains, a silent struggle rages, where smiles hide tension, and whispers carry more authority than official decrees. What once felt like an unbreakable structure now resembles a grand house with cracks in every corridor. Senior aides work round the clock, phones glued to their ears, while late-night meetings bleed into dawn, and for the first time in years, orders do not trickle from the top, but emerge from a restless middle ground. One insider captured the chaos with a single line: "There's no clear leader anymore, only power moving through silence." Hallway chatter now replaces formal briefings, servants swap rumors over silver trays, and every closed door sparks fresh theories. Even the guards at the palace gate sense unease. They stand straighter, eyes darting, as if expecting breaking news any minute. Family portraits seem to watch the crisis, centuries of royal faces staring down at a kingdom that suddenly feels unsure of its line of march. Old allies of Camilla pace tight circles, wondering whether their loyalty now counts as unwise investment or proof of steadfast character. Advisors supportive of William whisper strategy over encrypted phones, afraid that a careless word could doom their rising influence. By contrast, defenders of the king cling to schedules and ceremonial precedent, trying to freeze change through protocol alone. The atmosphere crackles like static before a storm. Everyone knows lightning is coming, but no one can predict where it will strike. Across social media, every clip of William's speech and Camilla's stumble garners millions of views, multiplying pressure on the palace communication team. Posters tap keyboards deep into the night, charting approval spikes and sudden dips that shift with every new headline. Newspapers revise front pages at dawn and reorder them by noon as fresh leaks spark another surge of public debate. Outside in the capital, souvenir shops rush to print William and Catherine postcards, sensing a lucrative wave of renewed royal excitement. Inside Parliament, some members hint that clearer succession plans might calm markets, revealing how the drama reaches far beyond palace walls. King Charles battles exhaustion, still stunned by Camilla's collapse, and the storm of headlines that followed. His health already fragile limits his authority, and William's rising influence casts a long shadow across the throne room. Behind the scenes, two camps harden. One clings to tradition and cautious reform, the other cheers William's swift modern agenda. Caught in the middle are courtiers who watch and whisper, unsure which future will define their roles. Camilla's presence has almost vanished. Her public diary cleared, her engagements paused, and the palace offers only vague hints of rest and recovery. Meanwhile, William steps into heavier duties, hosting foreign briefings, leading sensitive calls, and championing key domestic causes with Catherine at his side. It is no longer symbolic. It is operational. The household now runs on a new rhythm set by the heir, not the monarch. Through every hushed conversation, one truth refuses to fade. Something enormous is shifting that no title or statue can reverse. What began as the quiet rise of a new generation now looks like a hand over the throne in all but name. Soon members of Parliament and ordinary citizens alike will ask the same question: has the next monarch already taken charge without a public coronation? Across centuries, the British crown has endured storms, abdications, and scandal, yet this moment feels different, not loud, not explosive, but quietly permanent. William's speech sounded less like rebellion and more like a signal that tradition alone can no longer carry the royal brand. He did not seek permission. He set a direction, telling the world that royalty must feel real, modern, and connected. A royal analyst later remarked the transition has already begun. The institution simply has not said so yet. Power has slipped its old lines, roles have shifted, and figures like Camilla now drift like ghosts through gilded halls. William is not waiting for a formal summons. He already acts as the family head, negotiating abroad, chatting with Commonwealth leaders, and redrawing priorities on his own terms. Beside him stands Catherine, polished, relatable, and quietly formidable, the monarchy's open secret weapon. As the king eases back and Camilla retreats, the royal spotlight locks on William and Kate, who embody the future in bloodline, style, and public trust. For many Britons, especially the young, this feels overdue, fresh air after years of stale ceremony. Has the crown formally changed hands? Not yet, but its weight has clearly moved onto William's shoulders with every confident step he takes. That leads to the question whispered in newsrooms and living rooms alike: has the new monarch already arrived? Charles remains king. That is the official fact. The oath was sworn. The crown rests on his head. Yet look beyond the pageantry and listen to what is said and what is carefully left unsaid, and another reality emerges. William now serves as a face, the voice, and the emotional center of the royal narrative. A senior aide reportedly sighed the king signs papers, but the world listens to William. This shift crept in slowly with modest appearances, and the headline speech, the restructuring, and finally Camilla's public fall. Charles still sits on the throne, yet William walks in the role of monarch everywhere but in legal documents. Global leaders dial William. First approval polls favor William and Catherine by wide margins, and inside the palace his team operates with the poise once reserved for a sovereign. Camilla's absence sharpens the perception. No queen consort stands beside the king, while William and Kate cover the grand tours and ribbon cuttings. Supporters hail the change as bold progress toward transparency, relevance, and emotional intelligence. Critics mutter about a coup in slow motion, an orderly disruption dressed as strategy. Charles maintains dignity, wearing the crown, but standing farther from its day-to-day force. This is bigger than one family. It is an institution reshaping itself on live television. A commentator noted that the past collapsed among white roses, and from its fragments a new order rose up. Is this the dawn of a brighter era, or the first act of decline history will decide? For now, one fact remains: a monarchy will never look the same again. William has already redrawn the palace map, while Camilla rests in the wings, and Charles steadies himself against change that arrives sooner than planned. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments, and stay tuned for more royal twists.